So this is my rant. I want to ask a question. Is society in short supply of sex? Is society in short supply of marriage and relationships? Because I've been listening to the masculine movement or the alpha movement or the male movement that is now taking place, and we are seeing where the men, I presume, are a bit frustrated with the fact that women are choosing high-valued men over low-valued men. I don't see why somebody would be frustrated over that, because at the ending part of the day, it's all about choice, right? And if it's all about choice, what would be so hard in somebody wanting something and aiming for it? Whether they get it or not is not the point. The point is that they are trying to get it. Didn't they state that it is better to try than not to? And if that be the case, what would be so wrong? Everybody is seeking a higher level of something, a higher attainment to something. Nobody's ultimately wanting to stay at the same level that they are, unless that is where they are comfortable. And if that's the case, what is wrong with that? I've never seen where a man goes out to look a woman and he's attaining to get somebody. He is attaining, he is seeking, looking, believing that he is going to get someone who is of a lower value than himself. No, he's seeking someone that is going to look good to him in his eyes and not in the eyes of someone else necessarily, but she has to be to his standards. So what is so wrong with women wanting men at a certain standard? What is so wrong with the men bringing themselves up to a certain standard? Now, I want to go back to what I was asking. Is sex in short supply? And sex in terms of our females, are there for men? This is really for men. Men. Are females offering you sex? Are you able to go and have sex without any confrontation, without a backlash? Can you get up at any time you feel the need and go and get sex, whether it be from your wife, from your partner, from someone out there on the street? It is available. It is in supply. Are you able to get it, or is it in short supply? If you want it, you simply cannot get it because there is no woman on this planet that is going to offer it to you, whether free or otherwise. Men, are you having that issue? My next question is, are relationships in short supply? Are we having less relationships and less marriages than we are having just simply sexual relationships? Because I'm coming to the understanding of a gospel, and it's by this gentleman. He's been doing this for many years now, but it just came into my focus. And his name is Kevin Samuels. He has recently passed away, so it's quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. And according to his gospel, men control relationships and marriage, and women control sex. And this be, men have what women want, which is marriage and relationships. Take keen note of this. This is according to the gospel, and he has quite a few people who follow his platform, who have been following his platform and have been inspired by his platform and very much motivated as well. So according to his gospel and what he has imparted on his followers, men control marriage and relationships because that is what women want. What the women want, the men control it. And what the men want, which is sex, the women control it. And it is, he has stated that it's unfair that majority of women are seeking to be in relationships with men of high value men. They are not wanting to be in relationships with men that they have to settle with. They have to lower their standards in order to be with that person. But that is completely contradicting, because if it's a case that the women are controlling the sex and the men control marriage and relationships, ultimately it is not the woman that is going to decide who she marries, because that is what the man controls. It's the man that is going, as much as she desires to marry this individual, if he says no, it's no. That's what they're saying. If he says no, it is no. Now, women, I am turning this over to you. If you say no, why can't it be no? Because you are the ones controlling sex, because that's what the men want, according to the gospel of the late past Kevin Samuels. If they can say no, and what they control is obviously in short supply, how is it that women are not entitled to say no? Why? He would have stated that, and I've been hearing this from different avenues as well, that we are being unfair. We are not being fair. And the system is designed for us. We get to make bad choices and poor choices, and the system will bail us out from making those choices. Now, if that be the case, and these are choices, and according to them, we have choices. It is a woman's choice if she gets pregnant and wants to keep it or abort it. That's her choice. She gets to make that choice based on her decision to lay down with this individual. She will now have the choice to either carry to full term her pregnancy or abort it. And they're saying that the men don't get to choose. The men don't get to choose. Do you agree with this? I thought the men had the choice of choosing who they wanted to lay down with. I was thinking that it's the man who was deciding who he wants to lay down with. Didn't he have that choice? Did he not have that choice? You see, it's not the future that determines the past. It's the past that determines the future. So if you know that you are not going to be in control of deciding what happens when this woman gets pregnant, why not make the sensible choice of not going there? Because you ultimately will not be able to decide this. So if it's a case where the woman gets pregnant, because really and truly, we all go into it for the pleasure. We all enter into it for the pleasure. And in entering this relation, this sexual contact or pleasure, we're not considering, well, I don't know about anyone else, but I have considered it. And I consider it during the process, before the process, and after the process. My whole mental state is thinking about it. And a lot of times I am thinking to myself, and I'm saying this to the partner in my sexual space, that I don't want this. I do not want this. Can we just do this and we both enjoy it without the consequences? And the funny thing is, it's always, yeah. Okay, where's the protection? Where is it? Oh, I have it right here. Then you start the process, and in the midst of everything, they demolish it. And you're like, what? Why are you taking it off? What happened? Oh no, man, just relax. Just relax. It's okay. I won't. And they continue. And in their continuation and their exuberance, they forgot that they weren't supposed to. And sometimes you as a woman, you are there like, no, don't do it. I am not ready for this. I am not prepared for this. We agreed to this. Don't do it. Oh, I can stand the responsibility. I can take care of it. I can this, I can that. And then when push comes to shove, they shove you aside, and you are left to make this very crucial, life-threatening decision. And if they say, abort it, they say, I don't want it. It's your choice to do what you want. They say, abort it. So now, after their moment of pleasure, because during this process, they were in no pain whatsoever. It was 100% pleasure for them. And in their moment of pleasure, you are left with what? The pain, the hurt and the trauma of having to make this very life-threatening decision. And they can smoothly and calmly and nicely tell you, abort it, because it's that simple. In their head, in their thought, and in their brain and mind, it's so simple. It's so easy. What's so difficult about it? Go and abort it. Get rid of it. because you won't have to deal with the life consequences of this. You won't have to deal with the critical, threatening decision that is going to be made. He gets to walk away scot-free. And if she does do this, if when we women do this, we go and we abort this child, who is left with the mental trauma? He walks away scot-free and he goes to live his life free of this thought, free of this mental instability. Free. And if she decides to keep it, and he says, well, you decided, it was your choice, you deal with it, she is still left. Either way you take it, she is still left with the pain and the trauma of dealing with offering him a moment of pleasure. So she gives it up to him. He doesn't give her a ring nor a relationship in return for what she has offered, because that is what life is. It is a system of exchange. You give me something, I'll make you some. It's that simple. No matter how you look at it, that is how life is set up. It's a means of exchange in every single area that you will trod. That is how the system operates. So men, according to the gospel of Kevin Samuels, control marriage and relationships, and women control sex. This is the exchange. I am exchanging sex for marriage. I am exchanging sex for relationship. I am exchanging relationship for sex. I am giving you this. In return, you give me this. I give you sex, and in return, you give me marriage, you give me relationship. Men, are you doing this? Women, are you getting this from men? Because at all times, women are entitled. Every women are entitled. What are we entitled to? What are we entitled to? What is our entitlement? To be at your beck and call, to submit ourselves to your control, for you to do with us as you have proven in the past. To be unreliable, dishonest, deceptive, deceiving, and irresponsible. This is what you men have displayed in the past. It is not the future that decides the past. It is the past that decides the future. So how did we get to this stage? It is not something that is happening right now that caused us to be in this situation. It is something from back then. Why is there a feminine movement? What triggered? What is the root cause of why women got up and say, enough is enough? What happened? Just like out here in my island, we have our heroes, we have the Paul Bogles, we have the nannies. What happened? Why they had a rebellion? What happened? Why they had a revolt? What was happening? Why that had to take place? What is the cause? What is the root cause of it? Surely they didn't just get up out of the blues and say, oh, let's revolt. We have a happy life. We're okay. Everything is all right. Let's go and have a rebellion. Let's revolt. Let's fight for no reason. No. They got up and they fought because of a situation. Because they were in a situation that was not comfortable. They were in a situation that was not comfortable. The feminine movement started because of a situation that the women were in that was uncomfortable. It was not obviously to their benefit. And this is their fight. Their fight comes through feminine movement. Though I'm not agreeing with everything that is taking place within that movement, but that was their right. You don't get to spend decades and eras destroying people's mental and physical stability and think that there is at no point they won't get up and revolt or rebel against that. Unless they're so conditioned. Again, men, women, and I want to say this is my view. This is my opinion on it. On this battle that is taking place between the feminine and the masculine. And I call it the unstoppable force up against the immovable object. That is how I see it. Because the women are not going to go back. They are still in it to this day. They are still having to endure. So even though there is a movement signed, they are still having to endure the pain and the trauma of men in control, of men and their overbearing level of authority. Men and their inability to control, manage, and channel their physical anger. Men who are incapable of channeling their emotions, their physical anger. Men who are simply unable to deal with rejection. That is not a woman's fault. You have a choice. Just like how you have a choice, women have a choice as well. And I believe we are making the wrong choices. Women, we are making the wrong choices. One of those very wrong choices started with the feminine movement. Wanting equal rights. Equal rights to who? Women don't deserve equal rights. We're not men. We can't deserve equal rights to men. What we deserve is respect. What we deserve is an equitable share. An equitable share. Not equal. So we know what we want, But I think we're just simply asking for it in the wrong way. I don't want to be equal to no man. I don't want to have to be displaying any type of masculine energy. I don't want it. Why? I have kids. And as a single parent, and having children from both sides of the arena, I've had to raise them. And I've had to distribute based on the understanding that I have. And it is unfair. And I do get to say it is unfair, because the men will tell you that this is how it is. Deal with it. No, we must deal with it, but you're unable to deal with it? Wow. You can't deal with the fact that a woman doesn't want you because you're not high valued. But we should deal with the fact that you're a man and you can sleep with as many women as you wish. We should deal with that, because that's just the natural order of things. But you cannot deal with the fact that she told you, no, I don't want you, because you cannot afford me. You don't have what it takes. You can't deal with that. So you crawl in your little shell and you go and you find one of these alpha males and you stand behind them, because that's exactly what is going on. Alphas do not stand behind alphas. They stand beside. They stand beside. So you guys need to take this into deep, deep, deep consideration and stop blaming your inadequacies on the woman. I heard the very same, and it's so difficult to just, because he's passed, so it's not like he can, he can actually respond. So it becomes so unjust, but the movement is still going on. The message is still getting out there, and believe it or not, it is getting out there more now than when he was here. And men, to show you how much of a really ridiculous thing this is, you are going to blame the woman. I had somebody tell me, because I made a comment that the reason when the feminine movement started, it was an open door for every and anything else to come through. That is no joke. When the feminine movement started, it was an open door for any and everything else to follow. Why? You see, if the woman does not agree to it, if the woman truly do not agree to it, it can't happen without force. If us women do not agree with it, it cannot take place without force. Believe it or not. Why? Because Personally, emotion to any individual is a very crucial thing. He who controls emotion can control anything, because it all starts from within. Before you can lift that weight, you have to first emotionally know that you can lift it. What they call it is mental. Because if it's heavy and you tell yourself, I can't lift this, you will never apply the strength needed to do it. Never. So he who controls emotion controls everything. That's why they always try to get in here. This whole thing about King Solomon was the wisest man, but he never understood the woman. False information. And I wouldn't say false. I would say that information isn't 100% accurate. He understood. But he was not built as a woman. So he wasn't able to apply. He wasn't able to apply it, but he knew it and he understood it. So what they did was use reverse psychology. You repeat something so much, so often, you then start to believe. You regurgitate the information. Repeat it over and over and over and over and over and over, and you become it. Once you have the woman sign off on it, that's it. You don't need the men to sign off on it. The men are going for you, the woman's opinion.